Hello, my name is Lou with LGM Photo Studios YouTube channel, and today we're going to go through a quick portrait edit in Lightroom and Photoshop. Okay, the first thing we want to do is open Lightroom, and we can look at our image. And we're going to hit D for the develop module, or you can come up here and click develop. And we're going to do some basic toning of the image. We're going to set our white balance to flash because it was taken in the studio. We're going to cross the blacks down a little bit. Smidge of vibrance. Just a bit of clarity. I know some people don't like clarity that much, but I like a little tiny bit. It seems to bring out more detail in the hair, but it can be overdone. See that? It can be way overused very easily. So we're just going to keep that as a 4. Going on to camera calibration, camera portrait, and all the way at the bottom there's blue primary, hue and saturation. We want to crank up the saturation. It brings out her skin tones quite a bit. And if we go to effects, there's vignetting. We want no vignetting on this image because it's shot on a solid background. Lens corrections. There is a little bit of vignetting in the corners, so we're going to see what our lens corrections can do for us. And as you can see, it brings the vignetting out a little bit. I don't mind a little bit of vignetting in the corners for this background. If it was a solid white background, then I would possibly work at getting these darker edges taken off a little bit, but I don't mind them. Detail, we don't want any detail. We don't need any noise reduction. We don't really need any sharpening. We can do that on export. This was shot at ISO 200, so there's not going to be any noise in this image at all. Okay, so now that we have done the basic toning, we're going to right click on the image, edit in, and open it in Photoshop. And it's going to take this image, make a duplicate TIFF, and open that in Photoshop, not the original. It's non-destructive. All right, now that we're in Photoshop, we can zoom in, hit Command or Control plus. And here's a tip for moving around the image if you want. If you have any of your brushes or select anything selected other than hand, you can hold down the space bar and see that will turn into a hand, and then you can move the image around lustily without scrolling. Okay, so we're going to choose a spot healing brush, and we're going to get rid of the little tiny things that we need to get rid of. Couple there, some makeup spill, nothing major. And the content aware spot healing brush is amazing. It does a very good job. There's another one here. My basic rule of thumb is, if it's going to be there in 3 weeks, I leave it alone. Any birthmarks or anything, check with the model first, because sometimes she might want that removed, but most of the time I leave it. There's a little spot on the background. And I think we're good to go. I leave smile lines because that's who she is. So, all right, now that we're done getting rid of all the blemishes, we can go to filter. Now, this is a Photoshop add-on. It's called Portraiture. Go to filter, Portraiture. And from here, I only want to choose a normal smoothing. Then you can hit this eyedropper for mask color, and you only want to mask out her skin tone. So it won't affect her hair, it won't affect her shirt. So that creates a mask of only skin tones. So hit OK, and it will render this out, and boom, it's easy. So before we go back into Lightroom, we want to scroll all the way out as far as we can, and we want to make sure that there's nothing else that we want to get rid of or fix at this point, and there isn't. So now click the X, save it. It will go back into Lightroom as a second image. So the first one is going to still be there. The second one is going to be, it's going to be a TIFF. If you can see right here, see how this is a TIFF, and this is also an NEF. So here's the raw image. There's the Photoshop edited TIFF. So okay, from here we can scroll into her eyes. Now here's a tip. In the upper left hand corner in the preview window, if you move this box around while you're zoomed in, you can move around the image. Alright, so we're going to open up the brush, drop down to Iris Enhance, show selected mask overlay. We want to click that on just so we can see where we're painting. Now we want a bigger brush than this, so we're going to hit the right bracket key a couple times until it's about the size of her iris. And we'll begin to paint over that. There's one. And there's the other one. All right, so now that we have done that, what I like to do is hit New, Sharpness. We're going to again increase the size of our brush by pressing the right bracket a few times and just paint over her iris. Now what I like to do with both of them is I like to keep the density down to about 61% or number 61. Because I think 100% is way too much. 61, it enhances it and sharpens it enough for my eye. So now here's a little thing I do. When you want to hit New, go to Exposure, and we want to bring our brush size down. So left bracket a few times. And if you notice, everyone has this little black outline around their iris. I like to trace around then what we're going to do is bring our exposure to 0 and just bring it down slightly, just enough to enhance that a little bit. Okay, now we're going to close our brush, zoom out, and that looks perfect. So we're going to go back to the library. We can do an XY if you select them both. Hit XY and you can see a before and an after. Pretty dramatic in a very short amount of time. All right, so thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe.